In the previous lecture, we have seen that the stability of quarks in hadrons, like the stability of protons and neutrons in nuclei, is influenced by their interaction energies. In strong and electromagnetic interactions, quarks can only be created or destroyed as particle-antiparticle pairs, just like electrons we have discussed in the previous section. This implies that in electromagnetic process corresponding to the Feynman diagram shown, the reaction E plus E minus to C plus C bar, which creates a C bar pair, is allowed, but the reaction E plus E minus to C plus U bar, producing a Cu bar pair, is forbidden. More generally, it implies conservation of each of the 6 quark numbers F equals U, D, S, C, B, T, that is up down, strange charm, bottom top, given by NF equals N of F minus N of F bar, where, as mentioned earlier, F equal to U, D, S, C, B, T, and NF is the number of quarks of flavor F present, and NF bar is the number of antiquarks of flavor F bar present. For example, for single particle state, Nc equal to 1 for the C quark, Nc equal to minus 1 for the C bar antiquark, and Nc equal to 0 for all other particles. Similar results apply for the other quark numbers Nf, and for multi-particle states, the quark numbers of the individual particles are simply added. Thus, a state containing the particle UUD has Nu equal to 2, Nd equal to 1, and Nf equal to 0 for the other quark numbers with F equals S, C, B, and T. In weak interactions, more general possibilities are allowed, and only the total quark number NQ equals NQ minus NQ bar is considered, where NQ and NQ bar are the total number of quarks and antiquarks present irrespective of their flavor. This is illustrated by the decay modes of the quark themselves, some of which are listed in the slide number 3 of the previous lecture, which are all weak interaction process, and we have seen it also in the decay of the neutron in Feynman diagram. Another example is the main decay mode of the charmed quark, which is given by C2 S plus U plus D bar, in which a C quark is replaced by an S quark and a U quark is created together with a D bar antiquark. This clearly violates conservation of the individual quark numbers Nc, Ns, Nu, and Nd, but the total quark number Nq is conserved. In practice, it is convenient to replace the total quark number Nd in analysis by the baryon number defined by B equal to Nq by 3 equals N of Q minus N of Q bar divided by 3. Like the electric charge and the lepton numbers, the baryon number is conserved in all known interactions, and unlike the lepton number, there are no experiments that suggest otherwise. The properties of atoms and nuclei can be explained in terms of their proton, neutron, and electron constituents, although in practice many details are too complicated to be accurately calculated. However, the properties of these constituents can be determined without reference to the atoms and nuclei by studying them directly as free particles in the laboratory. In this sense, atomic and nuclear physics are no longer fundamental, means that we have to go much deeper, although they are still very interesting and important if we want to understand the world we live in. Now, in the case of hadrons, the situation is more complicated. Their properties are explained in terms of a few fundamental quark constituents, but the properties of quarks themselves can only be studied experimentally by appropriate measurement on hadrons. Whether we like it or not, studying quarks without hadron is not an option. One of the fundamental properties of the strong interaction is flavor independence. This means that the strong force between two quarks at a fixed distance is independent of which quark flavor U, D, S, C, B or T are involved. Thus, for example, the strong force between US and DS pairs are identical. The same principle applies to quark anti-quark forces, however, not identical to quark-quark forces, because in the former case, annihilation can occur. Flavor independence does not apply to the electromagnetic interaction, since the quarks have different electric charges. But compared to the strong force between quarks, the electromagnetic force is a small correction. Further, when applying flavor independence, we must take proper account of the quark mass difference. One consequence of flavor independence is that hadrons occur in families of particles with approximately the same masses called charge multiplets. Within a given family, all particles have the same spin parity and the same baryon number, strangeness, charm, and bottom, but differ in their electric charges. Examples are the triplet of pions, pi plus, pi 0, and pi minus, and the nucleon doublet, p and n. This behavior reflects an approximate symmetry between U and D quarks. It arises because these two quarks have only a small mass difference, md minus mu equals 3 plus or minus 1 mev by c square, and hence in this case mass corrections can be neglected. For example, consider the proton and neutron. We shall see later that their quark content is P938 equals UUD and N940 equals UDD. If we neglect the small mass difference between the U and D quarks and also the electromagnetic interactions, which is equivalent to setting all electric charges to 0 so that the forces acting on the U and D quarks are exactly equal, then replacing the U quark by a D quark in the proton would produce a neutron, which would be essentially identical to the proton. Of course, the symmetry is not exact because the small mass difference between U and D quarks and the electromagnetic forces, and it is this that give rise to the small differences in mass within multiplets. Flavor independence of the strong force between U and D quarks also leads directly to the charge independence of nuclear forces. That is, the equality of the force between any pair of nucleons, provided the two particles are in the same spin state. Subsumed in the idea of charge independence is the idea of charge symmetry, that is, the equality of the proton-proton and neutron-neutron forces, again provided the two particles are in the same spin state. Evidence for the latter is found in the studies of nuclei with the same value of A, but the value of N and Z interchanged, called mirror nuclei. The symmetry between U and D quarks is called isospin symmetry and greatly simplifies the interpretation of hadron physics. As discussed earlier, it is described by the same mathematics as ordinary spin and hence the name. For example, the proton and neutron are viewed as the up and down components of a single particle, the nucleon N, that has an isospin quantum number T equal to half with Tz values plus half and minus half assigned to the proton and neutron, where Tz is the analogous to the magnetic quantum number in the case of ordinary spin. Likewise, the three pions, pi plus, pi minus and pi naught, are the part of a triplet pi with the T equal to 1 corresponding to Tz values 1, 0 and minus 1 respectively. In discussions, the strong interaction between pions and nucleons, it is then only necessary to consider pi into n interactions with the total isospin either plus half or 3 by 2. An example is shown in figure. The two nuclei B11 and 6C11 have the same number of NP pairs, but 5B11 has 10 PP pairs and 15 NN pairs, whereas 6C11 has 15 PP pairs and 10 NN pairs. Thus, allowing the Coulomb interaction, the approximate equality of the level structures of these two nuclei as seen in the figure means charge symmetry is approximately clear. To test charge independence in a nuclear context, we would have to look at the level structure in three related nuclei such as 4B11, 5B11 and 6C11. Here, the test is not so clear-cut because an NP pair is not subjected to restrictions of the Pauli's exclusion principle like PP and NN pairs, and there is evidence that the NP force is stronger in the S equal to 1 state than in the S equal to 0 state. Nevertheless, the measured energy levels in such triplets of nuclei support the idea of approximate charge independence of nuclear forces. In the year 1947, some peculiar cosmic ray events were seen, giving V-shaped tracks in cloud chambers, indicating some particles produced by strong interactions, since the process had a large cross-section, and yet they decayed by weak interactions because their lifetimes were long. For example, a typical observation was that pi plus p strong gives V naught decays to pi minus plus p weak. The V0's measured lifetime of 10 to the power minus 10 second is very small when compared with the expected lifetime of 10 to the power minus 23 second if the decay process involves the strong interaction just as the production process does. Except for the lifetime, the production reaction appears to be just the reverse of the decay reaction, and hence by detailed balancing, that is, if the production is strong, decay ought to be. Instead, the decay rate is 10 to the power minus 13 of the production rate. This is why V's were called strange particles. The new particles were heavier than pion or muon but lighter than proton, with a mass of about 800 times the mass of the electron. Within the next few years, researchers found examples of these particles as well as other new particles that were heavier even than the proton. The evidence seemed to indicate that these particles were created in strong interactions in nuclear matter, yet the particles lived for a relatively long time without themselves interacting strongly with matter. This strange behavior in some ways echoed the earlier problem with Yukawa's supposed meson, but the solution for the new strange particles provided to be different. The principle of detailed balance can be used in kinetic systems which are decomposed into elementary processes like collisions or steps or elementary reactions. It states that at equilibrium, each elementary process is in equilibrium with its reverse process. By the year 1953, at least 4 different kinds of strange particles have been observed. In an attempt to bring order into this increasing number of subatomic particles, Murray Gell-Mann in the United States and Nishima in Japan independently suggested a new conservation law. They argued that the strange particle must possess some new property called strangeness that is conserved in the strong nuclear reaction in which the particles are created. In the decay of the particles, however, a different weaker force is at work, and this weak force does not conserve strangeness with spin symmetry, which is found only by the strong force. According to this proposal, particles are assigned a strangeness quantum number S, which can have only integer values. The pion, proton and neutron have S equal to 0. Because the strong force conserves strangeness, it can produce strange particles only in pairs in which the net value of strangeness is equal to 0. Consider a typical reaction for producing strange particle pi minus plus p to lambda naught plus k naught, where lambda naught and k naught are symbols used for two strange particles. If we assign the new additive quantum number called strangeness as values such that S is equal to 0 for the ordinary particles n and p, but S equal to plus 1 for k naught and S is equal to minus 1 for lambda naught, then S will be conserved in this strong reaction. On the other hand, the typical decay lambda naught into pi minus plus p will not conserve S. Hence, it cannot occur by strong interaction but must involve weak interaction. Thus, lambda naught and k naught particles are produced in association at a high rate or large cross-section in process involving strong interaction. They each decay independently because they have flown apart in process involved there is weak interaction. The decays occur at a low rate, that is long lifetime, because changing S requires the interaction to be weak. Because of the long decay lifetimes and also because of some neutral decay modes, both the strange particles in one interaction were not seen in the original cosmic ray observations that used small gas cloud chambers. A modern visualization of the production reaction is shown in figure, which is a photograph of tracks in a large liquid hydrogen bubble chamber. An incident pi minus strikes a proton in the hydrogen producing lambda 0 and k 0, where lambda 0 decaying into a p and pi minus as in the above equation and decaying into a pi plus and pi minus. Lambda 0 particle, that is a V appearance of the decay mode in the cloud chamber upside down, has the restive mass m lambda naught equals 1116 MeV by c square. This may be compared with the neutron and proton rest mass 940 and 938 MeV by c square. The value of this mass as well as the need to conserve baryon number in the reaction above suggest that lambda naught is a strange version of the nucleon, that is a baryon. Experiments have shown that, like the neutron, the lambda naught particle is a neutral spin half fermion. Also, like the neutron, parity is taken to be positive by convention, since S conservation prevents determining the relative neutron lambda naught parity, because there is no other particle of similar rest mass. The lambda naught is the only member of an isospin singlet, that is lambda naught has T equal to 0 and Tz equal to 0. Having discussed the baryon lambda naught, we turn to its associatively produced K meson. Experiments have shown that there are 4 K mesons, the positively and negatively charged K plus and K minus, and the neutral K naught and K naught bar. Like the pi meson, the K mesons are all spin 0 boson of odd intrinsic parity, where the parity has been measured relative to that of the lambda naught. Their rest masses are given by mk plus equals mk minus equals 494 MeV by C square and mk0 equals mk0 bar equals 498 MeV by C square. Assuming that, as in nuclear physics, isospin and its Z component are conserved in strong interactions involving strange particles, we can use the production reaction pi minus plus P2 lambda naught plus K naught to assign quantum numbers to the K mesons. Since T equal to 1 for the pi minus, T equal to half for the proton P and T equal to 0 for lambda naught, the only possibilities for the K naught are T half or T equals 3 by 2. If the latter were true, there would be a quartet of Tz values and the K meson family would have to span a range of 4 different electric charge states. But in fact, there are only 3 charge states, Q equals -1, 0 and +1. Therefore, T equal to half for the K0 and the other K mesons. Note also that since Tz has the values -1 for the pi minus, +half for the P and 0 for lambda naught, it must have the value Tz equal to -half for K naught. In consideration of the way Q depends on Tz, in other situations, we naturally say that the K meson with T equal to half, Tz equal to +half is the K plus. That K minus is the antiparticle of the K plus and K naught bar is the antiparticle of K naught. So, the K minus and K naught bar have values of Tz opposite to that of K plus and K naught respectively. Thus, K plus and K naught form one isospin doublet and K minus and K naught bar form another. Note that unlike the pi 0 which is identical to pi 0 bar, the K naught and K 0 bar are quite different particles. The reason is that the value of S for an antiparticle is the negative of its value for the particle, just as is the case for the quantum numbers B, Le, L mu and Lz. Thus, S is equal to 1 for the K plus and K naught and S is equal to -1 for the K minus and K naught bar. This difference in the value of S has many experimental consequences. For example, the reaction K naught bar plus P gives lambda naught plus pi plus is possible. That is, it conserves Q, B, T and S, but no similar reaction can take place with the K naught. Note that the nucleon, which is a baryon, has half integer isospin and pion, which is a meson, has integer isospin. But the baryon lambda has integer isospin and the meson K has half integer isospin. Clearly, the existence of strangeness changes the relationship Q equals Q Tz plus B by 2 for nucleons and pions among the charge, baryon number and isospin. If we are to include all particles introduced so far, the equation now becomes Q equals Tz plus B plus S by 2. For pions and nucleons which have S is equal to 0, this reduces to Q equals Tz plus B by 2. But for the lambda naught, it tells us that Tz equal to 0, while for Ks, it predicts that Tz is either plus half or minus half. The Gelman-Nashima relation Q equals Tz plus B plus S by 2 tells us that in deciding whether a strong interaction takes place, we need to check only 3 out of the 4 quantities Q, Tz, B and S, since all are conserved but related through Q equals Tz plus B plus S by 2. Once we know the Tz assignments for particles of given Q and B, we do not have to be concerned about S. Since weak interactions do not conserve parity, strong interactions must always be employed in determinations of particle intrinsic parities. However, because of strangeness conservation, no strong interaction will involve just as a single strange particle. Therefore, it is impossible to determine the parity of a strange particle relative to non-strange particles. Thus, the intrinsic parity of the lambda is defined to be even, and with respect to that definition, the parity of K is odd. While the K and lambda were the first strange particles observed, a large number are now known. We shall discuss just a few of these, starting with those which are strongly interacting fermions, that is baryons, that decay via electromagnetic or weak interactions. Any baryon possessing strangeness is called a hyperon. The hyperons can be classified according to their strangeness, which have values S equal to -1, -2 and -3. Like lambda naught, the sigma hyperon has S equal to -1, but instead of being an isospin singlet, it is an isospin triplet with Z minus, Z naught and Z plus having T equal to 1 and Tz equals -1, 0 and +1 respectively. The 3 sigma particles have nearly the same mass. M sigma equals 1190 MeV by C square and spin half with even parity. The S equal to -2 hyperon constitute an isospin doublet that are called Xi particles. The Xi with the Tz equals plus half and Xi minus with the Tz is equal to minus half, roughly the same mass. M Xi equals 1320 MeV by C square and spin half with even intrinsic parity. Finally, there is an S is equal to -3 isospin singlet. The omega minus particle of rest mass M omega minus equals 1670 MeV by C square. This T is equal to 0, Tz equal to 0 particle has spin 3 by 2 and even intrinsic parity. Each of the sigma, Xi and omega particles are produced in a high energy collision through the strong interaction in association with other particles in such a way as to conserve strangeness. For instance, the Xi minus with S is equal to minus 2, which was first discovered in cosmic rays, is produced in association with the two K mesons that both have S equal to plus 1. With one exception, these hyperons decay by the weak interaction. As an example, Xi minus decay to lambda naught plus pi minus has a lifetime of about 10 to the power minus 10 seconds, which have seen in typical of weak interaction. Because of the sequential decays, the above equation followed by lambda naught decays to pi minus plus p, the Xi is often called cascade hyperon. The exceptional hyperon decay is that the Xi naughts decays electromagnetically according to the scheme. Sigma naught decays to lambda naught plus gamma with a lifetime of about 10 to the power minus 19 seconds. In this electromagnetic interaction, the Z component of isospin is conserved since Tz equal to 0 for the photon. The Xi 0 and lambda 0. But this is required by the Gelman-Nishima relation we mentioned earlier, and the obvious conservation of strangeness in the decay sigma 0 to lambda naught plus gamma. It is generally true that Tz and hence S are conserved in the electromagnetic interaction. It is Tz or S conservation and the values of the masses, that is, Ks cannot be produced to carry of S, which prevents the Xi or omega decays from the proceeding relatively rapidly by the electromagnetic interaction. Unlike the strong interaction, the electromagnetic interaction does not conserve T. We know that isospin conservation in the strong interaction is a way of expressing its charge independence. Since the electromagnetic interaction is obviously not charge independent, it cannot conserve isospin. Another way of saying this is that although the photon has Tz equal to 0, it is a mixture of T equal to 0 and T equal to 1. So, in interactions involving a photon, T does not have a definite value. In addition to the lambda, sigma, Xi and omega hyperons, which decay via the weak or electromagnetic interaction, there are known a large number of strange particles, both mesons and hyperons, which decay through strong interaction. Although these particles exist only very briefly, about 10 to the power minus 23 seconds, they are in every other way equivalent to the baryon and mesons we have already discussed. It is just an accident of their higher masses permitting them to decay into other strongly interacting particles, which makes them seem so different. There are many non-strange particles which decay strongly also. At the end of the last century, about 14 lambda-like particles with S equal to minus 1, T equal to 0 and mass ranging up to about 2600 MeV by C square were known. There were about 12 sigma-like particles with S equal to minus 1, T equal to 1 of about the same mass, while only one S equal to minus 3 particle was known. There were at least 4 Xi-like particles with S equals minus 2, T equal to half. In addition to these hyperons, there were about 7 K-like mesons with S equals plus 1 and T equals plus half, which decay strongly with masses ranging up to about 1800 MeV by C square. As an example of a strong decay involving strange particles, consider the K star meson, which has a mass of about 890 MeV by C square, allowing the decay K star plus 2 K star plus pi naught with lifetime 10 raised to minus 23 seconds, because S, T and Q are conserved. An overview of subatomic particles available at the website shown below. Now we summarize the families of elementary particles discussed so far. Table 1 lists the particles which are stable or else decay only by electromagnetic or weak interactions. Related particles are grouped into families: the photons, leptons, mesons and baryons. Both the leptons and baryons are fermions, and both the photon and mesons are bosons. The mesons and baryons, that is, the particles that participate in the strong interaction, are collectively known as hadrons. Rest mass, lifetime, charge Q, intrinsic spin, lepton number, baryon number, intrinsic parity, isospin T, Z component of isospin and strangeness are shown in the table. The strangeness quantum number facilitates the interpretation of differing reaction or decay rates among the particles. The slow decay rates of some strange particles can be explained by inferring that while the strong and electromagnetic interactions obey the law of conservation of strangeness, the weak interaction does not obey the law, and decay reactions which violate strangeness conservation exhibit relatively slow decay rates through the weak interaction. That is, a mechanism of decay involving the weak nuclear force. The following examples illustrate differing lifetimes for particle decays that obey strangeness conservation and proceeded by the strong nuclear force, and other that violate strangeness conservation and exhibit relatively slower decay rates by the weak nuclear force. In examples 1 and 2, strangeness is conserved, whereas in 3 and 4, strangeness is not conserved. The decay of a neutral sigma particle, sigma naught to lambda naught plus gamma, conserves the strangeness. Similarly, the decay of the delta particle, delta plus 2, p plus pi naught with a lifetime of about 6 into 10 to the power minus 23 seconds, strangeness is conserved. However, the decay of the positive cation, k plus 2, pi plus pi naught with a lifetime 1.24 into 10 to the power minus 8 seconds, strangeness is not conserved. Similarly, the decay of the neutral xi, xi02, lambda naught plus pi naught with a lifetime 2.9 into 10 to the power minus 10 seconds, the strangeness is not conserved. The quark structure and properties of baryons are shown in this table. Proton P contains 2 up quarks and 1 down quark, makes its net charge equal to plus 1 e. The particle is stable with rest mass equals 938.3 MeV by C square. The question that why proton is stable is explained already. It cannot decay into any other particle without violating the conservation laws. However, neutron can decay into proton and electron without violating conservation laws. And also, mass of neutron is more than the mass of proton. No extra energy is required during such decay. How neutron is stable inside the nucleus and decay with half-life of 886 seconds when let free is an important question answered in lecture 3 while discussing the formation of deuterium. Proton and neutron contain no strange quarks and thus have strangeness equal to 0. The strange quark is attributed to a strangeness value of -1. For example, the proton and neutron contains no strange quarks and thus have a strangeness equal to 0. Sigma, sigma plus, sigma 0 or sigma minus particles each contain one strange quark and thus have a strangeness value equal to -1. Particles with two strange quarks such as Xi minus and Psi naught are attributed a strangeness value of -2. The omega minus particle contains three strange quarks and it is thus assigned a strangeness value of -3. Particles containing a strange antiquark S bar such as Chion K plus would have a strangeness quantum number equal to +1, opposite to that of a particle with a strange quark S. The assignment of the strangeness quantum number S to a particle as described above obeys the following formula: S equals minus ns minus ns bar, where ns is the number of strange quarks that the particle hold and ns bar is the number of strange antiquarks comprised by that particle. Quark structure and properties of mesons are shown in this table. The quark structure listed is that of a particle and not the antiparticle. The oppositely charged meson is the antiparticle of the other. They differ in their quark structure. Antiparticles have an opposite quark structure to their respective particles. For example, the positive pion pi plus has the ud bar quark structure, whereas its antiparticle, the negative pion, has the opposite quark structure, that is du bar, with the sum of the quark charges is equal to -1. Another example, the neutral chion K naught has the ds bar quark structure, while the antiparticle of the neutral chion K naught bar has the d bar s quark structure and a charge equal to 0. Quark structure is a composite of quark antiquark pairs. Table shows some examples of baryons and mesons with their major decay modes as shown here, in addition to what we have discussed in the earlier slides. Some of the particles have only one decay path, while there are several decay paths for certain other particles. The probability of decay is mentioned in the last column. Now we introduce the classification of hadrons the eightfold way. In the year 1961, Murray Gell-Mann and Yuval Neeman independently proposed a scheme for classifying strongly interacting particles into a simple orderly arrangement of families called eightfold way, coined with Buddha's eightfold path to enlightenment and bliss. The scheme grouped mesons and baryons into multiplets of 1, 8, 10 or 27 members on the basis of various properties. All particles in the same multiplex are to be thought of as variant states of the same basic particle. Gell-Mann speculated that it should be possible to explain certain properties of non-particles in terms of even more fundamental particles or building blocks. Later, he called them as quarks. One of the early successes of Gell-Mann's quark hypothesis was the prediction and subsequent discovery of omega minus particle in the year 1964. Similar to the Mendeleev of periodic table in chemistry, the Mendeleev of elementary particles, Murray Gell-Mann arranged the baryons and mesons or hadrons into a wide geometrical pattern according to their charge and strangeness. The 8 lightest baryons fit into a hexagonal array with 2 particles at the center. This group is known as baryon octet. The 8-way organizes the spin-half baryons into an octet. They consist of neutron N and proton P, the sigma baryons psi minus, psi naught and psi plus, the strange lambda baryon A naught, and xi baryons psi minus and psi naught. Note that particles of like charges lie along the downward sloping diagonal lines. Q equal to +1 for the proton and sigmas. Q equal to 0 for neutron. The lambda, the psi naught, sigma naught, Q equal to -1 for the psi minus and sigma minus. Horizontal lines associate particles of like strangeness. S is equal to 0 for the proton and neutron. S equal to -1 for the middle line. And S equal to -2 for the 2 xi's, xi minus and psi naught. The eightfold way organizes 8 of the lowest spin 0 mesons into an octet. They are K naught, K plus, K minus and K naught bar, pi plus, pi 0 and pi minus pions and eta mesons. Diametrically opposite particles in the diagram are antiparticles of one another, while particles in the center are their own antiparticle. The 8 lightest mesons fill a similar hexagonal pattern, forming the pseudo-scalar meson octet. Once again, diagonal lines determine charge and horizontal determine strangeness. But this time, the top line has S is equal to 1, the middle line S equal to 0 and the bottom line S equal to -1. The eightfold way did more than the classification of hadrons. Its real importance lies in the organizational structure it provided. In other words, the eightfold way initiated the modern era in particle physics. Hexagons were not the only figures allowed by the eightfold way. There was also, for example, a triangular array incorporating 10 heavier baryons, the baryon decouplet. The organizational principle of the eightfold way also applied to the spin 3/2 baryons, forming a decouplet. Delta minus, delta naught, delta plus and delta double plus delta baryons, sigma star minus, sigma star 0, sigma star plus, the sigma baryons, xi star minus, psi star 0, the xi baryons and omega minus baryon. One of the particles of this decouplet has not been observed when the eightfold wave was proposed. Gell-Mann called this particle as omega minus and predicted in 1962 that it would have a strangeness minus 3, electric charge minus 1, and a mass near 1680 mega electron volt by c square. In the year 1964, a particle closely matching these predictions was discovered by a particle accelerator group at Brookhaven. Gell-Mann received the Nobel Prize in 1969 in physics for his work on the theory of elementary particles. So we see that the quarks come in three flavors, forming a triangular eightfold wave pattern. The up quark carries a charge of plus 2 by 3 and a strangeness 0. The down quark carries a charge of minus 1 by 3 and strangeness s equal to 0. The strange quark carries a charge of minus 1 by 3 and strangeness minus 1. To each quark, there corresponds an anti-quark q bar and opposite charge and strangeness. There are two composition rules for this. Every baryon is composed of 3 quarks and every antibaryon composed of 3 antiquarks. Then every meson is composed of a quark and an antiquark. With this, we construct the baryon decouplet and the meson nonet. The combinations is shown in the list and the baryon octet is shown in an earlier slide.